How you doing, guys? I'm Tim from Bowser's Got Beef, and what I have for you today is the most heinous, insufferable, crazy, out-of-this-world, controversial video on all of YouTube. My top 10 favorite Nintendo games of all time. Alright, now to start off this list, we're gonna kick the party off right. Yeah, we're gonna, do something a little silly, a little sexy, a little bit, a little crazy. We're gonna kick this party off right. My number 10, Mario Party 2 for the Nintendo 64.
For a good portion of my adult life, my friends and I have gotten drunk and played Mario Party 2. And I don't know why, but only Mario Party 2. Honestly, other than I think Mario Party 7, it's the only Mario Party I've ever played. But, we had the N64 and we were like, hey, let's get drunk and have some fun. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever won a game. Mostly my friend Scott did, but that's because of all those ridiculous happening stars and all the bonus stuff. But honestly, this game throughout my adult life has been a blast, and it's one that I love playing over and over again.
Now for number 9, we're going to kick it old school. Just a teensy bit. Because my number 9 favorite Nintendo game of all time is Pokemon Red and Blue. For, for the Game Boy. If that wasn't obvious.
I remember being 9 or 10 years old, and we got a VHS in the mail, and it was like a preview of Pokemon. It was like this weird live action thing, and it had all the different figures of the Pokemon, and it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was so excited about it, and then it was like out of nowhere, like I heard nothing about it. And then a year or so later, the games come out, and I was a huge Game Boy fanatic, and I got them for my birthday, and I'm guessing I got 2 so my brother could play too, because I don't think my dad and mom would have thought, oh, well, let's get these 2 games because there's 2 of them. I think it was because so my brother could play too, but that's fine, because those games were so much fun. The original Pokemon games were a blast to me, and honestly, I haven't played a lot of Pokemon games since, to be honest with you. I did pick up Let's Go Eevee as soon as I heard it was like the original Pokemon, because for me, I'm old school, I'm all about the OGs. I love the original 151. But this game was such a blast. Like, I couldn't put it down. To this day, I still love Pokemon. I love this game. I gotta give a fair chance to the other games, I'll be honest. But this will always hold a special spot in my memory, because this was the thing that originated for me, and I'm so happy it's the original one. I don't think I can pick a better Game Boy game.
Speed things up just a little bit, because my number 8 favorite game of all time is Mario Kart Double Dash for the Nintendo GameCube. Vroom, 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 vroom.
A big thing for me for the games on this list is absolute nostalgia. And just like Mario Party 2, I spent a lot of time inebriated in some sort of way playing Mario Kart Double Dash. I played all the Mario Karts except for I think 7, and honestly this one to me is the absolute best. It was the most fun. It had the most fun tracks for me. Rainbow Road's always a killer. And it was just such a good time playing with friends, playing with family. My brother and my cousin used to play this thing nonstop when I had my GameCube. And honestly, like, so many laughs and so many good jokes, so many fun times came out of this game. And for me, like, that's what puts this on the list. And I will always love Mario Kart Double Dash.
I know it's only been like a minute, but we're going to kick it old school yet again. My number 7 just happens to be Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES.
I feel like this game is a staple in anyone's, favorite games list. Maybe not so much the younger generation, but definitely us older guys. And honestly, Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of the first games I remember playing. And it made me fall in love with video games, honestly. It was so much fun. It was so cool. The worlds, the different things. My love for Dry Bones comes from this game, and I love Dry Bones. Also, the Raccoon Mario was my absolute favorite. Even to this day, whenever Halloween comes around or I want to feel like cosplaying, my first thought, and I haven't done it yet, but my first thought is Raccoon Mario, because this game has killed it, and Super Mario is one of the absolute reasons that, you know, video games are what they are today, and I appreciate that, I respect that, and Super Mario Bros. 3 will forever hold a place in my heart because of how awesome this freaking game was and how much fun I had playing it.
Now, this next game technically isn't a Nintendo game per se. However, it was exclusively on the Nintendo 64, and that game is WWF No Mercy for the Nintendo 64.
Ever since before I can remember, I have always been a gigantic pro wrestling fan. I myself even was a wrestler, and honestly, this game is the best freaking wrestling game of all time. There has never been a better wrestling game than WWF No Mercy. And that's because it was the most fun. It had the most things you can do. It had that crazy mall option. It had hours and hours and hours and hours I sunk into this game. I even used to use the Titantron option, and I'd put it above, like, I'd put an entranceway around my TV, and my TV would be the Titantron. I'd play the music, and I'd use my action figures for it. I can't tell you how many hours I've honestly lost playing this game, but it was one of my favorite games of my childhood, and no wrestling game, in my opinion, could ever top it.
Alright, so this next one is where we're really gonna start getting a little out there. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of the head scratches and a lot of what's wrong with you, but my number 5 favorite Nintendo game of all time is Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker for the Wii U.
Now I know what you're thinking, and just hear me out. Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker is such a fun game. Firstly, it has the mechanics of Fez, which is an amazing indie game, and honestly, I love the mechanics of this game. And it's so much fun. There's all kinds of crazy things you get to do, and it has freaking Toad, who's adorable, and Toadette, who's also adorable. Honestly, this game was so much fun. I bought it on Switch. As soon as I got my Switch, I bought it again because I needed to play it again. It is one of those games that, like, I spent hours and hours and hours, and honestly, I was like, wait, this is a short game, because I thought I beat the game, but there's multiple chapters, and it's just a blast. I mean, the dragon was my absolute favorite, and this is such a cool game, and that's why it's on my top 10.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Why, oh why is he making this list if he's just gonna have favorite ridiculous games? But you know what? We're going to kick it old school one more time for this list, because we're going to kick it all the way back to SNES, because number 4, Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. There, I said it. I said it.
Let me just start this off by saying Yoshi. Yoshi is one of the most adorable, coolest things in all of Nintendo. One of the greatest characters, in my opinion, and he is a blast to play with. He always was. But Super Mario World, for me, did the same thing that Super Mario 3 did. It just looked a lot better. And honestly, this was one of the most fun and hardest games I've ever played. I'm not the best at video games, I'll be the first to admit that. But this game was definitely a challenge when I was younger. It's still a challenge when I'm an adult. And I love going back every once in a while and playing it. I love to go back to the old games and play them again, because it makes me fall in love with video games all over again. And for that, I will always appreciate Super Mario World.
This next game is literally the inspiration for the name of my channel, and it's for my homeboy right here, the big guy. And that game, my number 3, Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story.
This is honestly one of the coolest games I've ever played. I played the original Mario and Luigi game for DS, and it was so much fun, but this one is so much better to me because you get to be Bowser. And Bowser is my guy. He's my favorite character in all of Nintendo, especially. And I just love the gameplay, I love the mechanics, and I love the story. I honestly got the name Bowser's Got Beef from this game because, you know, the stupid jokes about beef and being beefless, and Bowser's mad the whole time. He has beef, and I thought it was just a perfect name. I've honestly been waiting a long time to use this name. And this game is the reason. The mechanics are fantastic, the animation is fantastic. I'm not big for turn-based games, but this is a great turn-based game. They got all the things right in this game, in my opinion. And that's why this is so high on my list, and that's why it's honestly the only DS game on my list, too. Because it's just so much friggin' fun. I just could not put it down.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We're moving, we're vibing, we're down to the top 2. And one thing you need to know about me is if I had to choose sides, I'm going with the L-man over here, Luigi. Because Luigi is my guy. And you know what? I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what you say, Mario. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm coming for you, Mario. I don't think I'm not. He needs more games. Luigi needs more damn games. Because you know what? There's not enough games. But you know what? He does have a decent amount of games. And as you can tell, I'm really into spooky stuff. So, number 2 on my list. Boom! Luigi's Mansion. For the GameCube.
At this point, I've already accepted the fact that you guys probably think I'm insane, but that's okay. Like I said, Luigi is one of my absolute favorites. I pick him between Mario and Luigi. And when I discovered this game, I was so friggin' happy because, like I said, I love spooky stuff. I'm even going to do a show on the channel called The Bone Chilling Adventures, where I even play Luigi's Mansion and other spooky games. Honestly, this game for me, it's just top because it's realist, it's fun, it has booze, it has Luigi, you're in a haunted mansion. There's nothing better than that. You can't really top that, except, I mean, you can, but like, I haven't found many games other than the sequel that's very fun like that, and I can't wait for the third one. I'm so freaking ecstatic for it.
Now I know what you're thinking. This guy is off his rocker. Does this guy even play video games? Does he even know what's good? Does he care about this? Does he know about that? I'm going to be quite honest with you. You're going to find out a lot of crazy things about me when you watch my channel, and there's some things you are not going to like. And I may get some flack for this. I may get some heat, but my number 1 game, my number 1 Nintendo game of all time. And I know what you're thinking. Where has it been? How has none of these games been on his list? However, you will not go home disappointed. Maybe a little slightly. I don't know. It depends on how you feel. My number 1 all-time favorite Nintendo game is The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker for the Nintendo GameCube. Now, I know what you're thinking. What? Allow me to explain.
So when I was a kid, we used to go over to my cousin's house all the time, like every weekend, every other weekend. And I remember there were a few times where they were playing The Legend of Zelda on NES, and I really wanted to play. It looked like a lot of fun, and my cousins and my brother wouldn't let me play. I don't know why. If I could take a guess, it's probably because I accidentally spilled the chocolate milk on my brother's Nintendo when I was 3. And maybe my brother told them about that, and they were like, nah, screw that. But either way, they wouldn't let me play, and it kind of hit hard, and it put the stigma in my mind that, for some reason, I wasn't allowed to play The Legend of Zelda. So, I never thought about The Legend of Zelda again for a very long time. And it wasn't until I was about 19, 20 years old until I got my first GameCube. And my friend let me borrow a bunch of games, and within the games was The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. And I said screw it, popped it in, decided to play it, and it honestly, it was so wonderful to me. I love Toon Link, I love the cell shading, I love the animation, the gameplay, everything about it, the characters. was such a fun experience for me, and it's honestly the reason I am absolutely in love with The Legend of Zelda. And I love this game so much that literally a few days after this video comes out, I'm getting a tattoo, my first tattoo, and my first tattoo is going to be a Wind Waker tattoo, and I can't wait. This game is absolute magic to me, and that is why it is my #1 all-time favorite Nintendo game.
So there it is, guys. My top 10 favorite Nintendo games of all time. Will you agree with this list? More than likely not. Am I insane? Probably. Should I be kicked off of YouTube? More than likely. But to be quite honest with you, that's the whole point. They're my favorite games. They all hold sentimental value. I'm not a kind of person that cares about graphics or frame rates or anything like that. If I enjoy a game, just like music, if I enjoy the song, I'm going to love it. If I enjoy the game, I love it. And these are the top 10 games that I absolutely have loved and adored playing throughout the whole history of Nintendo. So there it is, my top 10 favorite games from Nintendo of all time. If you liked the video, even if you didn't, screw it. Like it, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, all that fun stuff. You know what to do, you know where to go. And when you want some insane, crazy, idiotic Nintendo content, guess where you can come? Bowser's Got Beef. Ladies and gentlemen, you have yourselves a great day, and thanks for watching.